Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into how a single new AI model literally just shook the multi-trillion-dollar cybersecurity industry to its core. We're not talking about just another neat tool here. This is a true cybersecurity reckoning. It's a fundamental shift that completely alters the balance of power on the internet. And to really grasp the sheer scale of the threat we're facing today, we have to look at a recent discovery that honestly left security experts absolutely speechless.
So get this. A critical bug hid in OpenBSD, which, by the way, prides itself on being one of the most secure operating systems on the planet. For nearly 3 decades, 27 years. Think about that for a second. Governments have trusted this exact system to run their firewalls since 1998. Over the years, automated security tools scanned that specific line of code. Wait for it. 5 million times. And they totally missed it. But an AI, it read the code, whipped up a custom test, and found the flaw on its very first try.
Which brings us to a frankly terrifying dual reality. The exact same AI capabilities that can perfectly secure our digital infrastructure can also be used as a devastating weapon to tear it right down. There's no architectural difference here. There's no magic switch you just flip from offense to defense. As Anthropic's own red team pointed out, the very improvements that make this AI an incredible shield, well, they also make it a remarkably lethal sword.
Okay, let's really dive into what this means. When this news leaked, the market completely panicked. They saw AI as this incoming meteor, and expensive cybersecurity consultants as, well, the dinosaurs. Stocks tanked because investors were asking a totally logical question. If AI can find and exploit bugs faster than any human alive, why do we even need a $4 trillion cybersecurity industry? The answer is that we're being forcibly dragged from a legacy model of just detecting attacks after your data is already gone to predicting and preventing them before the attackers even know a door is unlocked.
And the meteor in question here is called Claude Mythos. Now, the crazy thing is, Anthropic didn't actually set out to build a master hacking tool. They just wanted a really good coding assistant. But the model got so incredibly good at understanding what a programmer intended to build and spotting the tiny differences between that intent and the actual written code that it developed world-class cyber capabilities entirely as a side effect. On the CyberGemmy benchmark, which tests AI on real-world software bugs, the previous model scored a 66. Mythos, it scored an 83. That is a massive 16-point leap in a single generation. That's basically the equivalent of jumping from occasionally finding a typo to instantly auditing every major operating system on Earth.
To really understand how Mythos works in the wild, let's look at FFmpeg. It's a foundational piece of software that powers almost every video you watch online. Mythos found a bug that was introduced way back in 2010, and this bug only triggers under a highly specific, almost absurdly specific, numerical condition, splitting a video frame into exactly 65,536 tiny pieces. Traditional security tools just throw random junk data as software, waiting for a crash, so they would almost never hit that exact number. But Mythos doesn't guess. It reads the code like a master engineer reads a blueprint. It perfectly understands the underlying logic, and then it precisely targets the vulnerability. And this perfectly illustrates its absolute most dangerous ability. It's called chaining. Look, finding a single bug is one thing, right? But Mythos can take seemingly harmless, totally isolated bugs and weave them together. It found one bug that was literally just a missing safety check, and another where a number simply rolled back to 0 at the wrong time. Neither of those is catastrophic on its own. But Mythos chained them together into a fully functional exploit that lets an attacker purposely crash a server from anywhere on the internet with absolutely 0 authentication required. Just imagine a critical hospital system going offline in seconds because of a chained attack like this. It's wild.
The scale of what this model can do is just staggering. Just for context, back in 2025, a massive DARPA competition threw 54 million lines of code at competing automated systems, and collectively, they found 18 bugs. 18. Mythos, it found thousands. It didn't just stop at OpenBSD. It uncovered over 180 bugs deeply embedded in cryptography and virtual machines, just seamlessly tearing through systems like FreeBSD. On Linux, which, reminder, runs most of the world's cloud infrastructure and basically every Android phone, it chained 4 separate vulnerabilities together to jump from an ordinary user account straight to full admin control. And it processes these massive code bases in hours, not months.
So this brings us to the core of the reckoning: terrifying asymmetric warfare. AI completely removes the speed limit and honestly the skill barrier for attackers. A cybercriminal no longer needs to be some elite hacker.
They can literally sit on their couch at home, point an AI at public software, and generate devastating exploits in a matter of hours. Meanwhile, human defenders are completely bogged down. They have to manually fix the code, test it, wait for approvals, schedule maintenance windows, and jump through regulatory compliance hoops. You simply can't let an AI autonomously patch a critical banking system and just hope for the best, but a criminal can absolutely attack it that way.
And, this exposes a really harsh truth about the cybersecurity industry. The system was actually already broken before AI even showed up. Finding the bugs was never the real bottleneck. According to a recent threat report, 76% of actual compromises, we're talking the real data breaches and ransomware attacks, already involved just 10 known fully patchable vulnerabilities. The patches existed. Organizations just couldn't deploy them fast enough. So if humans are already way too slow to patch known bugs, what on earth happens when AI starts finding thousands of zero-day exploits overnight?
It means we're facing a totally unprecedented threat landscape. Anthropic realized pretty quickly that making this model public would instantly arm every cybercrime syndicate, individual hacker, and state-sponsored spy on the planet with AI-powered exploit discovery. They had a massive realization. Mythos is not a proof of concept. Mythos is a literal weapon. So they made the huge decision to hold it back from the open market. They didn't sell it to the highest bidder, and they definitely didn't open source it to level the playing field.
Instead, they launched Project Glasswing, building the ultimate defensive coalition before it's too late. This unprecedented initiative is entirely designed to fix the underlying infrastructure of the internet before the general public gets their hands on these advanced capabilities. So instead of unleashing total chaos, Anthropic is actively trying to turn the sword into a shield. They are quietly arming the world's most powerful tech and security companies with Mythos. We're talking about hyperscalers like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon right alongside dedicated cybersecurity giants like CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, Cisco, and over 40 other major organizations. By putting this model into their hands first, it essentially gives the defenders a massive collective head start to audit their networks and deploy patches before the bad guys even know these vulnerabilities exist.
But, and it's a huge but, here is the massive lingering problem. As of right now, despite this incredible head start for the defenders, less than 1% of the thousands of critical vulnerabilities that Mythos discovered have actually been successfully patched. Let that sink in. Over 99% remain completely unpatched. Why? Well, because finding a flaw with AI is practically instant, but fixing it across the incredibly complex, messy, legacy enterprise systems that hold your medical records and bank accounts, that is still a painstakingly slow, tedious human process.
And the clock is ruthlessly ticking. Security experts estimate we have just 6 short months from the initial April 7th discovery date before cheap open-source AI models catch up and become fully capable of finding these exact same bugs. In July, Anthropic is going to release a 90-day public report detailing exactly what's been fixed and, crucially, who is still exposed. By October, an expected IPO will force Anthropic to balance intense shareholder demands for a massive valuation against very real national security concerns. And by November, open models will almost certainly place these exact capabilities directly into the hands of cybercriminals everywhere.
So it all comes down to a ridiculously high-stakes race. On one side, we have the proactive Project Glasswing coalition, armed with the most advanced AI in the world, desperately scrambling to patch the foundations of the entire internet. On the other side, there is an impending, unstoppable wave of AI-armed attackers who won't be slowed down by compliance tickets or bureaucracy. Which leaves us with one critical, highly unsettling question as we step into this new era. When the speed limit is completely removed for the bad guys, will our human speed defenses truly be able to outpace the ruthless speed of AI offense?